moments. I do want to ask you though, what should a woman do if she's in that situation earlier where she is trying to seduce the man? She is trying to give him what you said is romantic and he's still rejecting her or, not wanting anything to do with her. He's acting like it's a chore. We watched Love is Blind.
Yeah.
And we saw when Jimmy told Chelsea, I didn't even want to have sex with you and you wanted to. There are guys who act like that too. I know that the majority is men not receiving sex from the women in their lives, but there is a flip-flop. And so what would you say to those women? Besides the obvious of you should reevaluate this relationship, obviously. But is there a way for her to get that man back? She's trying to do what she can by being seductive and turning him on and enticing him and initiating. Is there anything else?
Well, there's a few things I would say. So the first one is revisit the respect part of it and see if that's lacking. If a man has been not respected for a long enough time and he's just given up on it, he's going to lose sexual attraction for you as a woman. He's just going to be he can't see this woman as he just can't be turned on her because he's just so defeated and beat down that he's I don't have, because again, a lot of women think it's just about sex for a man. It's not.
Right.
It's not, sex is important, but it's what it represents. Because men use sex to build intimacy, right? Women want to have sex when there's intimacy. So for a man, when he's being totally disrespected and it's been a long time, he's not going to...
He doesn't want to connect to that person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the first place to check. The second thing is, if that's happening and the respecting is in line, is to actually pull back at that point, right?
Okay.
Take care of yourself. Let him know that you're let him know that you are fine, that you're, so you're pulling back and letting him come. Again, also the thing is that a lot of women don't understand how to seduce. So seducing is not badgering, right? So, or being upset about someone.
Teasing.
Right. Because look, as a man, men learn how to seduce. I mean, some men learn how to seduce, but men more so learn how to seduce than women, right? As a man, you have to learn how to seduce if you're going to be successful with women. Period. You're not going to be successful. You cannot go up to a woman and be like, hey, I want to have sex. You want to have sex? Let's have sex. That's not seduction. Or I really want to have sex with you. That's also not seduction, right? Seduction starts with, enticement. How do you get the woman as a man to get turned on, to, you touch her like this, right? The Trojan horse of sex, of seduction for a man, the simple thing is, how about a massage? You want a massage, right? That's seduction. It's a very crude form of it, but it works every time, right? Because why? Because you are enticing the person into it. So again, a lot of women in that case, where the man doesn't seem to be interested in them, they're putting on laundry and stuff like that. They have this real expectation. It's almost like a nagging, like a haunting type of, look at me, have sex with me, right? Whereas if you
desperate,
right? If you slow it down a little bit, and you're trying to woo the guy in, right, and you're trying to seduce him, get him turned on, get him, moving in your direction. And again, that might even be some part of seduction is the pullback. The pullback is part of it, right?
That's true.
Maybe you give him a little
teasing.
bit. Exactly. You do the pullback on it. So so I would say that study seduction. And that's something that I think that there's just not a good resource. There's not a lot of information for women to learn how to be good at seducing. So,
well, what I've taken away from our guys romanticizing women and women romanticizing men is that it's true what they say.
What?
That you have to always treat your partner like you're dating them, from the very beginning. Men have to do it in the sense of doing the acts and gestures that make a woman feel, loved and desired in those ways, the romantic gestures.
Right.
And women have to do it in the way of pursuing a man that, might have other options and might go choose those other options, but you want him to choose you instead. And I think that those things get lost on both sides. And that's why we're here doing these episodes. But you really have to look at your partner like, you know, you're still trying to get them for the first time. And I know people say that and it's hard to like put yourself in that mindset, but at the same time, people can visualize things and they can feel pretty real. So you can visualize, you know, even if you've been together however many years,
right,
what it might be like if your husband went out and was single again.
Yeah.
And that might light a fire under your ass to be like, all right, well, I don't want him messing with anybody else, so I'm going to be what he wants.
Because believe me, he's thinking about it.
He's thinking about going out there?
Oh, I mean, he's thinking about what would it be like if you're not showing him respect, if you're not showing him any kind of desire at all, if you're not, especially if you're not giving him sex at all, like if that's not happened, then he's thinking about, oh, you know, how would it be out there? Just like a woman would think about, you know, she's reading her romance novels and fantasy.
Like,
you know what I'm
what
saying?
if a guy treated me this way? Yeah,
exactly. So that is the key. And if you look at it again, to tie a ribbon on it, I've coached men for a long time now, and when I coach them on marriages or when they talk about the biggest complaint that men ever have with marriage and in marriages and long-term relationships is that she doesn't have the enthusiasm for sex like she used, you know, they're like, remember when we were dating and you just couldn't wait to like tear my clothes off and for us to, you know, you just were going crazy. You had to have sex with me. Right. And then a lot of times women dismiss that and they'll say, oh, well, yeah, you can't expect that now because we're married, we're living together, we have it all the time. And as soon as I hear that, I'm like, oh man, you really shouldn't have said that, because guys will tell me that. And I'm like, that's exactly the same as if a woman complains, you never take me on dates anymore. Remember how romantic it used to be? And he's like, oh, yeah, well, now we're living together and, you know, I don't really need to do that anymore.
Right.
Boom, nail in the coffin. So it's like women don't even realize that that's exactly the same thing. And that's the thing to really think about. So, yeah. But
I think too, just another thing to add is that I do think men also have to encourage their women, because it's very hard for a woman to initiate and be seductive when she feels like she's like shut down by the guy, or like he also is just treating it like he's just trying to get laid. Because, you know, there are plenty of guys out there who are very vanilla in bed too, you know? Like, I'm not saying that that's the main cause, but I'm just saying, like, for men, a piece of advice would be to hype up your woman when she's doing the things that you like, because that will entice her. And the same with women to men. Like, if he's getting you, you know, your favorite flowers, or like doing these other gestures to show you how much he loves you, you need to like hype that up. You need to positively reinforce those things, because one, it makes it easier for them to keep doing it, guy or woman. And it makes your partner feel good at the same time. Like, they feel good. They know that they're doing it the way that you like. And so they can continue on a path that's going to make you more and more happy, if that